How's it going, everybody? D-Stash here. And I thought with all the trailers we've gotten and all the information we have about Halo Infinite now, it might be a good idea to go back and watch the first trailer to see if we can get anything new. So without further ado, let's rewatch this trailer and see if we can, with our hindsight, get any ideas from it. Okay, so we have a cave. And then right here, this kind of catches my eye. These kind of rings that are around the cave, basically, they kind of mimic to me what we saw in another trailer, which was the control room for the Halo ring. At least what I believe is the control room. And here we can see something very similar, some rings going up through, a artificial tunnel, as Cortana would put it, or whatever. But obviously this and this are very different. Of course, this is natural, but what I'm thinking here is that what we're seeing here is perhaps ancient humans trying to mimic their surroundings. So we have, the original, which is right here, and then this is basically an ancient human interpretation of their surroundings, trying to make sense of it, and it's like a copy. And we can see this going into the trailer later, where we have the stone rings. I believe those may have been crafted by ancient humans just to, mimic their surroundings, and I think that this is a great example of it right here. Okay, and then here we have the entrance to some type of underground facility. Now this could be perhaps one of the Palaces of Pain or anything. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything what's going on here, but yeah, it's definitely, I wouldn't say an ancient human carving, because ancient humans at this time were basically like, cavemen, so I don't think they could make something that advanced. So that's probably an old Forerunner facility. It's a little interesting that it's a little bit run down, but that's all I really have to say about that. Okay, moving on here, we have some, deer, and these deer are remarkably similar to what we see on Earth, obviously, and I think that perhaps these deer are precursors to deer that we have on Earth. So perhaps Zeta Halo wasn't just used to house humans, ancient humans, because they were planted there by the Forerunners for a time. Perhaps they even had other Earth life, and maybe deer are part of the natural ecosystem of Earth, and they were planted here as well, and then they would be planted on Earth. Okay, and we have some ancient human writing right here, and this has been translated many times. People think it says the evil within or enemy within. Not much to say about it, but it's definitely not Forerunner, not Covenant. So I'm thinking that this is probably ancient human, and this has been discussed before. It's just another example of ancient humans interacting with Zeta Halo. Here are some of those artificial rings, so these are probably crafted by ancient humans that were planted on the ring to mimic their surroundings. It's interesting that part of it has broken off, like we see later on, but we know that the ring was broken probably much later, so this is probably just a coincidence that it looks similar to the ring as it is now broken. And I also like that we have a desert biome. Hopefully that appears in the main game. And then we have some UNSC encampments, very, lackadaisically put together, probably because they're hiding from the Banished. Here's something interesting. You can see kind of like this big imprint on the mud, and before you get to that point, you see human footprints leading to it. And what I'm thinking is this might imply that perhaps an animal was killed and then a human came and collected it. So perhaps in Halo Infinite there may be some type of hunting system. We know that, the UNSC has to eat on there somehow, and they probably don't have many resources because they're basically on, scrapped supplies. So perhaps Master Chief or other people will actually be able to hunt the animals of the ring and actually, get supplies and food from them. Oh, and, stop right here. Now, as you can see, there's actually a, either one of those rings flipped on its side or an entrance to a tunnel right here. So, yeah, I don't know what that's about. but that could have been the tunnel that we saw earlier that goes into the ground. Very interesting. And we have an animal, I'll get to that later. We have some energy being shot into the sky. And these right here, these are like precursors to the rhinoceroses. And basically, these are actually real prehistoric animals that appeared. I forgot the actual name of them, but they're, you know, the predecessors to rhinoceroses. So it would make sense that they would appear on Zeta Halo because many of the species of Earth were probably here first and then planted on Earth. You have them running. Nice shot of a tree. Probably more rhinoceroses in the background. More human encampments. Pelican, and if you look to your left, there's actually a Fight for Her poster on the side, so that's a callback to Halo 1. Here we have, I think, some type of Forerunner machine digging up something underwater, so perhaps we'll have some underwater combat, or at least underwater abilities that where we can perhaps swim or go underwater. This looks like one of those Forerunner machines that was in Halo 2. I can't quite remember what it was called, but it's very similar to that, I think. Okay, and we have some Marines walking, as we'll see in a second. And here we have, obviously, more of those stone rings that were probably created by ancient humans. So they keep walking. And then here, there's actually quite a bit of going on in this shot. So we have some water buffalo roaming down here. So yes, more human species, more Earth species, I mean. We have the Marines over here where that ring was. And then we have what appear to be some Forerunner Sentinels roaming around over here. So yeah, and you can notice that there's also no Forerunner structures in this area. And there's no damage to the ring in this area, which, you know, there's no hexagons coming out of the ground. I much prefer this more natural look. And of course we have Master Chief in his Gen 3 armor. Okay, so we have a Scout Warthog, Marine kind of on the side of it, just taking a ride. Some Forerunner structures here shooting energy into the sky. Stuff we've seen before. As we can see, the ring on this edge is undamaged. Now, of course, maybe up here the ring could be damaged, but this might imply that there may be a section of the game where we actually go to a section of the ring that isn't damaged, which I'm pretty excited about. Okay, and yeah, Halo Infinite. Powered by Slipspace Engine, and then now we can see it's coming up, Master Chief putting a AI chip into the back of his helmet, so that's probably going to be important. But anyway, that's all I really had to talk about. A couple new things, but mostly what we've heard before. But if you've spotted anything new with, you know, the added context, please leave it in the comments. And remember, if you liked the video, please like it. And if you really liked it, try subscribing. This was D-Stosh, and I'll see you in the next one. D-Stosh out.